Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, so I am in beautiful, sunny Miami, and we're shooting this series with GifterX Talk. And today my guest is Keyan Razi, a longtime friend. Keyan, welcome back to the show, man.
Appreciate it, man.
You were on one of the original ones, I feel like, Money Matters, when we were doing something live. That's like 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago. Oh, good times. Well, good to have you back. We got, we upgraded a little bit. We got headsets now and things. I feel like when you were on the show, I think we were doing it on the cell phone, yeah?
We're doing some cell phone stuff. It was pretty like bootstrap beginnings, right?
Come on, man.
Hey, man, humble beginnings.
We'll take it. So first off, we got a lot to talk about today. So I want to talk about IFW. I want to talk about our partnership, some of the things that we're going to be bringing to the Mission Matters community, a whole bunch of things to talk about. But let's go a little bit further behind. For you, you're my marketing guy, you're my SEO guy, you're my go-to, whether you want to be or not. For me, Keyan's that guy that, you got something that's blowing up. I'm always like, hey, Keyan, my programming skills are a little off. Talk about your background in marketing.
Yeah, sure. So I started off more as a software engineer for 10 years, and then I started getting into marketing. As I wanted to build my own tools, my own products, I decided, well, I better know how to sell it. And when you met me, I had just started really getting into marketing, doing SEO for clients nationwide and locally. And so ever since then, it's just been a big process in learning how to do marketing just beyond the technical level, going into media buying, doing copywriting, figuring out how to create offers and really give something to people that, one, makes sense, two, makes impact for their business, and three, they can scale and I can give value to them constantly.
So I got a story I want to bring out here because I told this story on the podcast before, but it's fun that people get to see the names and the faces behind them. So for the listeners that have been watching for a long time, I always tell them at one point we rebranded from Money Matters Top Tips to Mission Matters. And during that point, there was you probably don't remember this part. It was 9 days. We did it in 9 days. So we launched 32 new social media channels, 8 new podcasts. We separated all the shows. We niched everything out. And then somebody got a phone call about, hey, I need a website. And talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, that's no small feat, right? Doing all those social media accounts, connecting them together, getting all that stuff done. Yeah. Man, there's been a few of those phone calls. You call me up and you're like, look, man, you know how good I am at programming. Easy. However, there's just this one thing I'm trying to figure out. I think it started off with, we need to get this new website up, but you wanted help with a banner. I think it was a banner.
Yeah, it was small. I sucked you in real small.
Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, the origin story behind Mission Matters, right? So, just got you set up and you guys took it from there, man. You guys have built such an incredible brand and worked with so many people since then. It's amazing to see.
And for everybody watching and listening, just so you know, this was not a small task. Like it was, I dumped a whole website on him and I said, we need this to happen like yesterday. And there was a minimum at this point. I don't know if we were approaching 1,000 pages on the website yet, but we were north of 500. Like this was not a small task. I mean, Keyan came through and he's like, all right, what are we doing? How are we doing this? And he did it within 9 days. I think you did it in like 5 days, actually. The other 4 was me freaking out on other things. And 9 days later, the rebrand, everything else, and you've been my go-to. And that's why, as you've been telling me, and I've been getting more acclimated in your current projects. I mean, I know you do a lot in real estate as well. I know you do a lot of investing, trading, a lot of other things. But IFW, I'm like, wow, finally, I think we have something that we can partner on and I can bring to the Mission Matters community as well, which I'm excited about because I know your work. I've used your work for a long time and now I get to bring it to the community as well. So maybe start off by talking a little bit more about how IFW came to be.
Yeah, sure. So as I went from marketing and got into the real estate investing world, I started off as a marketer in that space, built tools for people. And then I realized I have a lot of friends in real estate. Yeah. Why don't I also get involved? And so we started a real estate company. In the first 12 months, we acquired about $2 million worth of properties, most of which were under $150,000 in value. Raised a lot of capital in that process. So as we started doing that business, I realized I am meeting a lot of folks who are investors, wealth builders, financiers, all this kind of stuff. And I started developing some partnerships and some relationships with folks. And since then, I have gone into business acquisitions, either full businesses or getting partial ownership and working on maintaining and building those organizations. And so the IFW came to be because a group of us essentially said, we have combined like 30 plus years worth of investment experience. why don't we provide a service to business owners? So IFW is Investment, Finance, and Wealth, and we call it the IFW Black Book. So essentially, the Black Book is a way for people to become part of a community and have access to experts in each of those fields. So wealth building might be related to how do you build a legacy? How do you build insurance plans with cash value that actually have compounding interest? How do you invest in things? The investment side has a little bit of overlap with that. That could be real estate investing. That could be investing in businesses. It could be investing in your own assets, passive revenue sources. And then the finance side is, well, how do you get lenders and raise capital? And we decided that our first entry point for most folks, most business owners, everybody needs money in business. And there's a lot of ways to get capital. However, there's a lot of institutional capital that they don't know how to get. A lot of that information is the same as it was 15 plus years ago. It just seems like a very mysterious or arduous process to actually get to it. And so we started off by creating we call it the do-it-yourself business credit compliance blueprint. And essentially, it's the exact process, everything from step 1 to 100 of how do you build a business credit. So that's something that allows businesses to actually create a credit profile in their business rather than their personal credit, and gets them access to bank lenders, institutional funding, business credit cards, lines of credit, funding that puts cash in the bank for that business. The reason why that's most impactful is because any business can save money to do some sort of expansion or growth. That can take a long time. And a lot of times there could be some type of event that forces you to use that cash.
Right.
But if you have the credit available, you can go ahead and use that credit, expand, increase your income, and then pay back that credit in half the time that it takes to save that actual cash. And so that's what we're teaching people now.
Why do you think the business credit field or industry is so convoluted? Like, there's so much misinformation. There's so many things out there. Obviously, I know your style. When you were going to build the product originally, like, you always want to bring the best. Like, why do you think it's so convoluted?
I think for one, it's just not something that most business owners are ever exposed to. So there's no reason for that field to really change or iterate. The other side of that is it's a very administrative heavy type of process. So similar to personal credit building, that's typically a little bit easier than your business side because you get offered credit cards pretty quickly. And all you have to do is essentially pay those things on time, use them responsibly. But with a business credit profile, you actually have to go get net 30 accounts. You have to get trade lines. You have to buy products and pay them within a certain time frame and then build from there. And the thing is, most businesses fail within 5 years.
Okay.
So building a credit profile under a business is much more valuable than just a regular personal credit one because it takes effort to actually make it happen. When you have that business credit profile, a lender or a bank is actually going to look at that and say, okay, you have revenue, you have tax returns, you have history that says your business has been operating and paying things financially responsibly.
Right.
And so it's just more of an administrative process that people have never heard of, never been exposed to. And when they are exposed to it, they feel like it's really tough. And so there's never been a need for iteration.
Something that I've noticed is when somebody's going into thinking about building business credit or otherwise, they're thinking, that's only for the large business, or that's only enterprise or middle market. It's not for a small business. Like, where do you stand on that?
I think any business should be focused on building some business credit. Very common ones now are e-commerce businesses. Usually they're very small. They're just a startup LLC. And a business credit profile may take, 3, 6, 12 months to build, but there's a lot of that process that you can start from day one that'll get you going because the process might take a year.
Right.
So if you start doing some of those things right up front, then 6 months down the line, when your business is up and running, you're producing revenue, you're already halfway through. So now all you need is increase that revenue a little bit, get some trade lines that have some of the products that you've purchased and paid them off. They've been reported to the credit bureaus as good. And for any business, I mean, an e-commerce store, you might start off with $1,000, $2,000 in inventory. Well, by the time that you're ready to expand and drop $20,000, $30,000 into wholesale product, you have a line of credit ready to go.
Right. One of the things I like to do is provide actionable tips to our audience. So obviously everybody's going to be a little bit different, but what are some things if somebody's watching this right now, they haven't really gone down that line, they're thinking about doing it, but they don't know if it's exactly for them. Like where does the beginner start? What should be some things that they're thinking about today?
Yeah, the most important thing for a beginner is if you have a registered LLC or any type of business corporation that's ready to go, it's got an entity, you've already registered it, make sure that you go and get a Dun & Bradstreet's number. Those are free to get. You simply go to Dun & Bradstreet, register your company. Now you'll have a number. And then the next thing that you can do is simply start researching some of the trade lines that you can go after. And you could search on Google and you'll find like the first few pretty easily. Granger is one, Uline is one, like all these different brands where you can get an account that allows you to get a bill and pay that invoice over time. And then you just buy something worth of, $30, $40, and you pay that off within 15 days. That's a really easy way to start building business credit. You have the Duns and Bradstreet number, which is basically like your FICO SSN, right? And then when you get a trade line and you pay those invoices off, they get reported to that particular business, and Dun & Bradstreet will actually receive that. And they'll create and keep track of what's called a paydex score. That paydex score will basically tell lenders that you pay your invoices on time in a Net 30 account, and it's the easiest way for anyone to get started for very cheap.
Yeah. So I know that there is so much more to this, not only to the business credit, but also to what you're going to be doing with IFW overall. How do people follow up with you? How do they learn more? Like, how do they get more value?
Yeah, certainly. So we have a product that we have been selling to the general public that helps them learn about business credit and getting started. However, for Mission Matters folks, if you go to ifwblackbook.com and use a coupon code MISSION, we will let all of the viewers have our book for free. And that gets them started, gets them introduced into building business credit, the right steps that they need to get started for any type of business, regardless of size, how new it is, revenue status. That'll be the easiest way. And as a bonus of getting that product, they will have a link to the Facebook group. So they'll receive an invite to the private community, and that's where they can start learning more about all three sectors, investment, finance, and wealth, and get to see some experts come in there and provide some more value.
Amazing. What's that website again?
ifwblackbook.com.
ifwblackbook.com, and then it's coupon code?
Mission.
Fantastic. Well, Keyan, thank you for coming on the show today. This is a lot of fun. I'm excited for what we're going to build and how we're going to continue to partner with each other. I know a lot of business owners, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of executives that are watching this. Definitely want you to go check out that link. We're going to put it in the show notes so you can click on it and head right on over. Speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing on new guests, bringing you new content, and hopefully more inspiration for your journey so that you can succeed. Again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Keyan, thanks so much, man. This is fun.
Appreciate you,
the
man.
reunion.
Good to be back on.